Happy Friday, everyone. Today, I'm going to be live coding critical updates to the collectibles protocol on Base. I'll be implementing artist payment splits using 0x splits and set up a 10K supply cap on the tokens. Watch as I build, test, and deploy these features in real time. Let's dive in. Start by sharing my screen. I've already got my server running. Let's start testing the changes that I've made. So the current task I am working on, I have updated inside of my roadmap file. In my roadmap file, I'm working on adding funds recipient with splits. And it's already implemented the first change by modifying our use collectible form hook to get the recipients and pass those recipients into the use create collectible hook for create collectible. And then inside of use create collectible, you can see that we have imported the AI imported the create split function. And then we handle some logic before creating the split. And there's some type errors. But other than that, the changes were pretty simple. Let's test them to see if they work. Happy Friday. I want the emoji, so let's go to the park. The park is the creator of the Happy Friday meme. And so I like to take the name and use that for most of my messaging on Fridays. Upload a song file. Upload some Nounish music. Upload a Nounish image. Select at least 2 artists. I'll select 3. And now when we create, hopefully we're going to be creating a split first and then creating the contract. So signing 2 transactions ultimately. Creating the contract, this should be where we sign. Hopefully this is on Base Sepolia. It is, and hopefully this is to a 0x splits factory. Uh-oh. I'll just confirm it. I wanted to review what it was doing, but. And here's our second transaction as hoped for. We are now creating a second transaction, and this one should be creating our contract and using the new split that we created as the funds recipient. Let's check. I'll copy my address and go over to BaseScan to verify what I just did. Copy my wallet address, go over to sepolia.basescan.org. And from here, I can look up the wallet address that I've been using to sign the transactions. And we can see I created a split 34 seconds ago, and then I created a contract. Let's first see what the address is of the split, and then I'm going to search for that inside of the logs of the create contract function to make sure that it was set correctly. So this was the wallet address of the split. Now that we know what our split wallet address is, we can go into the create contract transaction. And inside of here, I'm just going to go to the logs tab and I'm going to command F for that address to see if it appears anywhere in here. So far, I'm not seeing it here. Update royalties are going to this user. We want the royalties to be going to the split that was just created. Let me open up another tab. It looks like I'm starting to feel like the changes were not implemented correctly. And so we'll verify by searching for the address again over here. This should be a split wallet. Let's go to the contract. This is a push split. And so royalties is being set to this address, which is different from my push split address. It's a minimal proxy contract for 028 E34. 028, nope, different. It looks like this is not being used right. So let's check out what's going on. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's go into the use create collectible hook. Use create collectible. And inside of this hook, create collectible contract with royalty recipient being set to funds recipient. What is happening inside of here? Royalty recipient, payout recipient should be going to royalty recipient. Construct token setup actions, payout recipient. And then we should have the setup actions being used here. ARGs, royalty recipients, and then we've got our setup actions. So let's just log what we're using for royalty recipient, because that seems to be what we're using everywhere. So we'll console.log. Paste the royalty recipient there. And let's see what value is being used. And let me review really quickly what the logic is over here. If params.recipients and params.recipients.length, we already created the split. We know that we saw that transaction, and then funds recipient. Yeah, that's what I want to see, the log from the results from this. Console.log. Split created with the funds recipient, and then that funds recipient console.log funds recipient. Let's see what we get. We've added a little bit more logging. The goal right now is to have a clear view of reality so that we can properly manipulate it for the goals that we have. Goal is to get split recipients working. Current blocker is the funds recipient was not set to the correct address. It was set to a different address, which I believe is most likely my personal wallet. Do I still have Happy Friday in my clipboard? Nope, I've got code in my clipboard. Go back over to the park, copy Happy Friday again. Happy Friday, nope, didn't copy. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, there it is. Happy Friday, Happy Friday. Let's get my noun sound in there. And my nounish image in there. Select a few artists so that we create a split. Now click the create button so that we do all that work. And let's see what our console logs come out to. Metadata gets uploaded. I would like to add a label text that says creating split if we're creating a split, just to make it very transparent to the admin that's creating here. The uploading of metadata is taking a while. Is everything okay? Okay, there we go. Creating contract. We should be seeing transactions opening any second. Expected chain ID is 8453. Why? Expected chain ID should be 84532. It says I'm on 8453, but it wants me on 84532. My wallet should be on 8453. Settings, dev settings. I'm already in testnet mode on base Sequoia. I was just able to sign, so I'm confused as to why it's now having me change. I'll try it again. But I didn't change anything, so I'll probably get the same error. Part of me thinks I just need to disconnect my wallet and reconnect it. So I'll try that. Let's come over here, log out. So we've got two buttons here on our admin page. We can create a token, which is an ERC20, like the coins. And we've also got collectibles, which are additions, which are ERC1155 tokens. So we've got two different tools for musicians to use to create different types of tokens on chain, depending on what type of sale we want to do and what type of rollout the musician is planning. Musicians have a lot of tools to be able to publish their music on chain, and not just their music, but anything that they're thinking of creatively. Musicians have an abundant tool set of diverse tools they can use to create whatever they're imagining on chain for free, and to take full ownership of their art, to be able to receive payments instantly, and to have full transparency, not just for yourself, but for everybody else, as well as composability with all these other applications that are being built. Looks like I've signed in. We'll try creating a collectible again. Let's see if I have Happy Friday, Happy Friday, Happy Friday, Happy Friday. Upload a noun sound. Upload a nounish image. Select some artists. Create. We go back into uploading, and we hope this time that it sees us on the right network. We're in the creating contract step. Is it going to open up our wallet? It's opening up our wallet this time. Sometimes just got to unplug the wallet and plug it back in, and everything works fine. Okay, confirm the split contract. The split is what allows funds to go amongst all the artists. So when someone buys this collectible, we want to distribute it amongst the payments amongst all the artists that were involved. Let's see if we got did we get any logs regarding funds recipient? So many random workbox logs in here that I don't want. So let's try to filter it on specific text. Is that filter going to work? Still seeing a whole lot of stuff. Not seeing it filtering right now. Try it again. Okay, so I see split was created and we've got funds recipient as the same address. Let's check this out on Basecamp before signing, just to verify that this is a split and it was created a few minutes ago. It was created at this transaction. This is a contract. Is it a push split? Like, yeah, it's a push split. We can see it in the top right. Let's go to the transaction hash just to verify it was a couple seconds ago. It was 1 minute ago. So far, so good. Now let's actually sign the transaction that is open, wherever it went, to create our contract. And that should create the contract. And then I'll filter on the other set of logs once this finishes. Now it's saving it to the database. And once that contract has been saved to the database, the pop-up should close. Maybe the pop-up will close. Next step is to check out the logs in the other file. So inside of use create collectible, or I guess we were just there. So inside of create collectible contract, do we have any other logs? How many logs do we have here? Constructing setup actions. We only have one. Let's check it out though. Clear out of that, paste in a new one. And it looks like we are getting our split wallet address as the funds recipient. So hopefully this time we see our funds recipient is the split that was just created. Let's see if that's the case. We just created that contract. Oh no, wait, let's go to our wallet and find the create contract function that was signed a few seconds ago. Create contract is right here. Go into that function. Go to logs. And I'll do the same thing. I'll try searching for, I already lost the address. It is over here. Copy that address. Let's see if I can find it. It does not immediately come up, which has me worried. Let's scroll the way down to the update royalties. We're still getting the same, oh, the user is setting it, but this looks like our wallet. It looks like we are properly setting royalties and I was just misreading it. We can see inside of setup new contract, that address is there. Update royalties, it's there. Set sale, it's there. Set sale, it's there. So I actually think that we are good and it's already working. We could verify by going to our front end to see if that is the case. Let me try doing that real quick by going to coop records.xyz /Daniel Allen / I don't even know what the slug would be for the Happy Friday. The park. Yeah, I actually have no idea what it is, so let me go to Supabase to try to figure out what that is. We've created a token with the funds recipient as a split. I now want to verify when I purchase that token that funds flow to that split contract so that the musicians are paid out in the split that we just created. So I'm checking inside of Supabase to find where our collect page route is, the slugs on our front end page, so that I can go and try to test the contract that I just created on Base Sepolia testnet. We store that info inside of the contracts table in Supabase. And so I should see a whole bunch of Happy Fridays here. It looks like I actually made it by 33 below. And so the artist slug is 33 below, and then the song slug is Happy Friday. So if I go to the main CoopRex site, CoopRecords.xyz /33- below / Happy Friday. This should take us to a Base Sepolia testnet token where I can buy it and verify the purchase is sending funds to the split. Let's see if one, is the page going to load or is it going to redirect me back? Looks like the page is loading, showing the correct pricing, showing the correct artist. I'm not seeing the media, but it might just be loading. I do see the title. Let's try collecting this. I'll just click collect. And let's see if the purchase works. It's opening up my MetaMask on another screen. So let's move MetaMask over here so that y'all can see it. Hopefully it's not going to make me sign in. Main ETH account, Basepolia testnet. It's trying to load in the data. I don't necessarily care about the data. Nonce just got flipped to 0, which is incorrect. I'm hoping the nonce up, there it is, 1249. It's jumping between the actual nonce of 1249 and 0, which is concerning. I'm hoping this transaction goes through, but I could also see it failing. Good old MetaMask. It looks like I was able to purchase it. So let's go into my MetaMask wallet. This is another thing I want to fix during the stream, if there's time, is fixing this pop-up so that it shows the correct metadata. You want to remove that claim rewards button if there's no boost associated, and show the image, show the title, show the artist name. It's loading a little bit slow over here. I believe I bought it in my main ETH account, so I could just look up. MetaMask is always slow. New contract. Let's try going over to this new contract and see if a mint function was called on it. No transactions on this one. I'll try looking up a few of these that I've been creating them with the same name, so they could very well be overlapping with each other. Copy the contract name. So look, I'm looking for whatever collection I just made a purchase from. The fastest way would have been to go through my MetaMask, but MetaMask is, it might be faster to be other ways than to try to just open up MetaMask. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Took about 15 seconds to open the app, so not incredibly long, but longer than I prefer. I just clicked the drop down for the account 1. There we go. When I count it out, I find that I'm impatient because 15 seconds is not a super long time, but with my short attention span, I expect when I click a button, it's less than a second until whatever I tried to do happens. And when it takes north of 10 seconds, I feel impatient, and I feel like it is slower than it could be. But let's come back to what we're trying to do here. We are trying to verify that the splits are working. I've just bought a token to run that test, and I'm trying to verify that right now by getting my wallet address, finding the transaction that I just signed, drilling into that transaction to see if the payout was correct. Here's the mint transaction I just signed. I paid 000 for ETH. And now if I go into logs, I should see a rewards deposit where the creator reward should be the split. This does not look like the split I was expecting it to be, but it might still be a split. Because the split that we saw was 5005. But again, it could be using an older version of the contract. This is a push split. It is at least, the funds are going to a push split. And let's see what this split is by opening up it's just splits.org. I believe it's actually app.splits.org. And then there's account. I can put in my split wallet, and I just need to make sure I've got question mark chain ID equals 84532 to signify that it's on Basepolia. And now we can check out what that split is to see how those funds are getting routed. I don't want to, we're just testing, so I don't need to try this too much. We're at 24 minutes. I want to at least get 2 pull requests out during this. We can see it's a split with 3 different wallet addresses, each about 30%. This split was created 21 minutes ago. This seems like we have completed this task. Let's start pushing our code and executing our pull request. Inside of roadmap, I'll copy the task name. I'll put an X inside of the task box to signify that I have completed the task. I'll add all these files, paste in the message, commit the changes, publish the branch. And now we'll go into code review time. I'll crash the server so that we can save a little bit of our compute on my local computer. And now GitHub, where we're going to go to open up the pull request and do our code review. Head over to GitHub, find the specific repository where my pull request will be. In this case, I'm modifying the admin app. I should get GitHub auto prompting me to create, compare, and pull request. Create the pull request into main. I should get a little Slack ping saying that I just opened up this PR. I might not have Slack open. Yeah, I might have closed Slack, so I might not get it. But I do need to open Slack because I need to share this link with my team. No, I do have Slack open. We'll move Slack over to here, and I'll go into the code review tab. Want to go back home, go into the code review tab. And from here, I can, let's actually reorganize. Boop, boop. Copy the pull request URL. I will say hashtag KubeRex because this pull request is for the KubeRex project. Then I go to linear and I find the ticket that is already tied to the task. Paste in that ticket name, and then I link it to the ticket by copying the ticket URL and then pasting it over top. Now we've got me sharing the pull request. I want to make sure I said end of day yesterday. I didn't do that. Oh well. My counting will be a little bit off. Okay. Now I want to go into the review and start my actual review. Supabase was skipped. We have not deployed to Vercel. Wondering why the Vercel deployment was not triggered. Let's go over to Vercel. And I'll also check out Vercel status because Vercel's been having some issues the past week, and that might be, I'm seeing all systems are operational, so we should not be having any issues. In which case, let's check out Vercel and see if we can manually trigger the deployment, because the last build I'm seeing was 2 days ago. Go to the deployments tab. There should be a little 3 buttons, create a deployment. Splits funds recipient is the branch I want to deploy. This commit has already been built, it says. Okay, I do see it here. It just wasn't reflected inside of the pull request. Possibly undefined inside of use create collectible. We already knew that. Let me try to see if where is this also happening? Let me find where else the create split function is happening. Use create collectible, use create split, use create token. That's what I want, use create token. Credits, upload, create the split. I mean, this is so much simpler than what we have over there. So I'm going to use this. I'm just going to take exactly what we have, and it'll be way less code. Token creator equals is never reassigned, use const. If not, params.royalty recipient. Let me make sure params.recipients. So we can do params.recipients here. For creating of the split. Here we can say params.recipients.length. We need to change this to params.recipients. It's getting a little long, so I'm going to say const recipient split recipients. Split recipients equals params.recipients, and that should hopefully make split recipients.length, then we'll create, otherwise split recipient 0.address. Now token creator is what we're going to want to use right there for token creator. Royalty recipient is not going to be funds recipient. It's going to be I don't like that it's token creator. We'll update it to be funds recipient. So we'll make funds recipient be right there. Funds recipient and funds recipient can stay. What don't we like about it's possibly undefined? Let's enforce that it's not undefined. Is that possible? Nope. Delete funds recipient like that. Cannot redeclare that. Error message should go away shortly. This one is the last one. It's possibly undefined. Let's fix it in chat and see if chat can fix this little type error. Hopefully it doesn't try to do super large changes. Does its little thinking block. And then it makes a concise fix right into this file. Make sure I save the latest changes. Okay, we now see funds recipients. Now we have even more errors than before. It moved in the wrong direction and it didn't even fix the error. So we are going to undo that change, reject the file. And now we should go back to our original error. It's possibly undefined. So yeah, is it just going to be adding that question mark? So all that we needed to do was add that question mark. It looks like all of our build errors have been fixed in this file. So I will add it, copy the file name, paste it in my commit, fixed build related to missing funds recipient. We want to make sure we always have a funds recipient so that someone's always getting paid for the music that's getting released on Base. Let's delete some of these comments. I don't like code comments. I think code should be self-documenting. And I also don't want these logs. So let's just start removing those logs now. Command F console, Command Shift F console.log. Let's globally search for any console logs I might have added during this build. Yep, we're going to delete all these. I guess except the file. I'm not sure what I changed here. And also delete any sort of dev comments. And I'm going to take one more of these set upload status. Create collectible. Set upload status is coming from where? Set upload status is the state here. So we cannot change it unless we make bigger changes, and I really don't want to make bigger changes. So let's just keep going through the console logs. Delete, delete, delete. Right now I'm just tabbing. So far, the AI is doing a pretty decent job keeping up with me, knowing what I want to be doing. It's not getting these multi-line deletions, but that's okay. Any more console.logs? Only a console.error, which we want those to stay for proper and robust error handling. Upload file we didn't touch today, so I'm not going to touch that now. Create collectible contract we did touch today, so let's delete that one. Upload file again we didn't do, so that should be everything. I'm going to make a new commit called removing devlogging. And we'll make this push, and let's see if we have any updates on the deployment status of our latest Vercel build. Sync the changes, close all the others. Let's go back to Vercel and try to find the deployments. We're now queued and building. Last time we got to 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Looks like we're about the same place. Hopefully we're in the deploy. We're still linting over here. So while it's linting, I'll go in and I'll review. I'll review the code changes. I added a Scratchpad file to my cursor rules. I'm using the new cursor rules setup where they have a file .cursor, and inside of that .cursor file directory, you then have a rules directory, and inside of there you put individual rule files based off of, I have one for TypeScript and one for its Scratchpad. I found that it's no longer able to modify its Scratchpad inside of Cursor, so I'm giving it an additional Scratchpad file in the root of the project. So those 3 files are more admin, not really related to the changes we wanted, and I'll just get rid of those. Here's the bulk of what we actually changed. I deleted a whole bunch of logs which were already in our code base, just making sure I only deleted logs in this file. In this file, we only deleted logs, and we added recipients, which we get from the provider, our collectible provider, and we pass those recipients into create collectible. Create collectible is coming from use create collectible, and so my mind is wondering, why even pass recipients in here? Could we have just imported it inside of use create collectible and then reduced the number of parameters that need passed to use create collectible? Also, this response is not being used, so we can delete that response. And what I wanted to check, yeah, we're using hooks in here, and we're already using the context in here. We're already pulling the recipients in here. So why are we passing? Wait, create collectibles over here. Go inside of the use create collectible hook. This one we are not pulling from the context, but we could be. Create collectible params. This is a type that we just had to modify as well. And I don't want us to be making those types or making those changes. So let's try to reduce the overall number of changes that we're making. Collectible types. Open the file for types inside of the collectible folder. I'm going to Command Z. It's probably not going to do anything. It's not doing it. Oh, there we go. Command Z. Did for a second. Command, and let's reject those changes. Now we don't have them anymore. So collectible form should be throwing an error saying, hey, you're trying to pass in a variable that we don't have any awareness of. Right there, there's the red line. And so I'm going to move this into use create collectible. I'll move it to the end. And all that we need is use create collectible import. Doesn't want to import, so we'll come up here, import use collectible context. Wait, whoops, I imported the wrong thing. We actually want to bring in is our recipients from the use collectible context. My bad. This is a self-referencing use collectible context. Cannot find context, collectible context. It might be inside of providers. Providers, collectibles provider. Looks like our import has resolved correctly. And recipients, it's no longer params.recipients because we're not passing it. So this makes all of our code easier. I can just get rid of this variable. We can now update to say just recipients for everything. All of our code got a little bit shorter. We come over here and we can now delete the recipients. And wherever we're passing it, we can delete it from there. And so we're getting the exact same functionality with less code. Less is more, simple is best, small is beautiful. Let's see what our errors are and see if they start to resolve on their own. I'm thinking the ID might just be behind a little bit. So I'm going to try to push this because our builds take about 3 minutes. Add all these files, ifix build. Actually, I don't even think it's build errors anymore. Let's see if we still have build errors. We should be good. Yeah, no more build errors. So this is actually I reduce overall changes by removing recipients prop and accessing recipients via the provider for collectibles. Let's commit all the changes, push all the changes. And now we're kicking off a new build and all the errors seem to have disappeared. I definitely want to wait for the build to finish so that I can test the final deployed version. It just started a build. Looks like it takes about 3.5 minutes right now. So let's go back into code review. I should see this types file disappear because I'm not changing it anymore. And I should see the logic inside of use collectible form. We should just be deleting the console logs now. Let's see if that's the case. When I refresh, we changed 7 files before. I'm hoping we go down to 6. We just went down to 6 files. So we're changing 1 fewer file with hopefully the exact same functionality. That's the goal. We want to change fewer files to have the same functionality. What is the simplest thing you can do to get it to work? Less bloat, more highly precise, focused code. I was watching some Instagram reels this morning and I saw someone having an electrical box open and the electrical box was smoking. And he said, look at what I have to deal with in the caption. And he calls out and he's like, who did the wiring on this house? And some old lady replies back, oh, it was my nephew, Thomas. He's so handy. And then and you just see the box smoking and it was a mess of wires going in all different directions. And it was just chaos in there. And I sent that reel to my dad, who's a carpenter and when I was young, he had me tiling, doing plumbing, doing electrical. And I know how much attention to detail he paid when he was doing carpentry work. And so when he taught that to me growing up, it got me to realize how important it is to have our work environment clean, have the fewest changes possible so that if in the future someone else needs to come into this code base, it is incredibly easy to read because we don't have bloat, we don't have wires hanging all over the place that might cause fires, everything's labeled properly. And so that if someone else needs to open up this electrical box, wow, I see exactly what's going on. It's easy for me to understand quickly. And now I can manipulate this reality faster because it is more legible to me than that chaos of bloated code. And so that's the important step of this review, is it's my chance to clean up the electrical box, clean up anything that is maybe a little bit inefficient where I can minimize the amount of changes I'm making to keep our code optimal. In this file, all that we're doing now is removing dev logging. I'm happy with that. And so really the only file we're modifying is our use create collectible hook. And inside of here, we are creating the split and we are getting our recipients that we want to use in the split. 2 calls, one to create the split, and then the second we're updating to pass in the params. And that's it. Looking good to me. I'm happy with these changes. On my side, code review has been approved. Right now, I don't have anybody reviewing my code. So that's all that we do. And it looks like our builds have finished, so we can now finally test. This build was way faster, only 2 minutes. Open up. The preview app. And go over to /create, nope, /admin, /create. I'll make it a different name now so that I'm able to test it more efficiently. Let's get started. Sign in with Phantom Wallet. I'm going to have this stream be 1 hour, so I've got about 15 minutes on it. I'm not setting any goals on where I get to. I'm just live streaming me building in public. let's find out where Phantom went. Put in our password. Connects. Sign to verify. It's got it open on a different tab. Confirm to sign in. And now that we've signed in, we can get to testing. Let's verify. Yeah, that final build already finished. Create a collectible. I don't think I have Happy Friday. I think I have a password copied. So let's come back over to the Parks profile. Highlight my Happy Friday. Look at that. There I am. Hacking artist payments on base. We got 815 people tuned in right now. So thank you to everybody who is tuned in and watching. Happy Friday 2. Happy Friday 2. And now the rest of this I'm just going to keep as Happy Friday. Find our song that we're uploading for the collectible. Find the image that we're using. It's a Nounish image for our collectible. Do our splits. I'm going to start with Daniel Allen this time to change up. My goal is just changing up the slugs so that it's easy for us to test. And instead of 3 recipients, I'm going to make it 5, including Zed's Dead, for us to be able to verify the split on the other side of this transaction. So we're in the testing stage. Oh yeah, I wanted to take a screenshot of here and say testing example for my team. Let me send this inside of Slack. I'm multitasking right now. Testing split creation. Don't know what happened there. Testing split creation. I can tell him you can test here. Test here. We're creating the contract. Phantom should be doing something. Here's Phantom. Confirm. This should be the creation of our split. Once we sign that, we should now be creating the actual contract. We've got Phantom popping up again, full screen. Phantom, come on. This is to create the actual contract, the collectible. And once we create that collectible, it gets saved to our database. Let's verify that it got saved. We got Happy Friday was before. We should now see a Happy Friday 2. There it is. So now let's check out total supply needs changed to my next pull request. Let's find the artist slug, Daniel Allen, and then Happy Friday 2. So we'll come back over to the main app. Let's check out Daniel Allen and then Happy Friday -2. This one should be using our latest split. I'll find that split address by going into my Phantom wallet, copying my wallet address to find the transaction where I created both the split and the contract. Open up Base Polyscan, paste in my address, close down some of the tabs that I am no longer using. And we created the split a minute ago and the contract 54 seconds ago. Copy the split address. I should be able to find that split address inside of the contract, but I don't want to take too long, so let's go directly to my test. It looks like I got redirected back, which tells me that this contract has not been indexed by our indexer. Our indexer is slow. Daniel Allen, Happy Friday 2. I might not be able to test it if the indexer doesn't pick up the token relatively quickly. I'm going to assume that it's working fine and I'm going to ship it to prod. Yeah, it's still redirecting me back. So I can check, I guess I'm just going to finish checking this by going inside of the contract and verifying that I see the split scattered throughout. And then I'm going to proceed with the next task so that I'm not waiting on an indexer, which is outside of my control. I'm seeing that split address being used in royalties, set sale, set up new contract, and updating of the royalties. So it seems like that split address is being used in quite a few different places. I'm feeling confident on this. Let's ship it and move on to the next task. Squash and merge, confirm the squash and merge, copy the shipped, take our little image that we just took, send a ship emoji, close the preview for embeds because they take up space, and now add a ship emoji to the pull request to signal that it has been shipped. Let's move on to our next task. Step 1, check out to main. Pull the latest changes from main. Go over to linear. Our ticket should have automatically been removed to done. It was. Let's go up a level and move that ticket down a little bit in our list. Move funds recipient down to spot number 3. Limit 10K supply. Copy the branch name. We check out to our new branch. Publish the branch. Please prepare. Let's open up our roadmap. Whoops, all I did was use my voice to type, and it seems like that might have messed up the stream a little bit, but we're still here. Let's see if it's able to update the new Scratchpad architecture that I've given it. I'll prepare the Scratchpad for step 53, which involves limiting the total supply to 10,000 additions. That's exactly what we want. It's updating the new Scratchpad doc, scratchpad.md. No changes have been applied so far. It looks like it's now able to apply its changes, which is exactly what I want. Awesome. Scratchpad limit total supply to 10K. Current state, the current implementation uses open editions with max UN 256. This allows unlimited token minting for collectibles. No enforced limit on the number of tokens. Requirements, we want to update the total supply logic to 10K. Enforces the maximum during collectible creation. Ensure the limit is applied consistently. So it's now going to start with the research phase. It's going to start to look around, and we see that we're using open edition mint size. And now it's going to update its Scratchpad with all the research it just did. This is the flow I like, when it's able to go through its Scratchpad and make all these changes on its own, and I can just look over its shoulder and watch how it's thinking. Setup actions, max supply defaults to that. Construct passes the value. The value is used in the contract creation to set the max supply. We need to create a new constant for the 10K limit, update the default value in setup actions. Cool, code structure, we'll create a new constant max collectible supply to that. And then we'll update it in setup actions to use that constant by the default. That sounds great to me. Let's see if it's already making those changes. Have it resume. Now it's going to get started with constants file. Let's just follow along. We've got a new environment variable, 10K, defined as a big int. Accept it. That looks great. Let's close everything except for the Scratchpad. And now let's implement the changes based on our research. Okay, now it's updating setup token actions. I'm going to run my server so that it can start loading now, because I know it's always slow. Here we are using max collectible supply instead of open edition mint size. Okay, it's not liking our type. Partial token config setup is being defined inside of types. And where is max supply being used? Max supply is right there. Let's go into our token setup config. And it looks like max supply is a big int. So why isn't it liking it? Oh, okay, there it is. Now it's fixed. Wait, now it's not again. What aren't you liking? Unsafe assignment of an error-typed value. I don't know why it's throwing that. This number looks perfect to me. Well, let's get rid of that underscore and just make it 10KN. Maybe the underscore is throwing it off. The underscore should not be throwing it off. Were there any other files changed, or was it just the constants and setup token actions? It looks like those were the only two, and I think it just finished on its side. So let me try to get into the testing phase. I'll come back to the admin page, refresh the page, and we'll now wait for it to start compiling. We're at 56 minutes, so I will most likely be wrapping up the stream soon. We created it, we implemented it, now we're in the testing stage. So it looks like it's already implemented the change. It was very small change, and now I'm just gonna test it. Because testing seems to be a little bit slow, I would love to test these changes on this stream. Oh, it even updated our roadmap file, look at that. Copy the comment, paste in our comment, we'll commit it to our new branch and push it so that we can potentially test on a deployed version, but it looks like it just finished compiling, so we should be good locally as well. I don't want these console logs open. Let's see if that error is still there. Set up token actions. Let's try fixing this in chat to see if it's able to fix it. Because this might stop our build if this is an actual error, which is going to stop us from testing. High load. There's high demand for Claude 3.7 right now. Makes sense. If there's still high load, I'll drop us down to 3.5. Yep, still high load. We'll go down to 3.5. We're now in 3.5. Send it again. Slow request. TypeScript's concerned about yada. We need to ensure the type is explicitly a big int. Looking at and how. Okay. Seems like a weird change. Does that fix it? Let's try commenting this out. Get rid of the error. Uncomment it. And now we need to import it again. Did that fix it? Unsafe assignment of error type value. Max collectible supply. Token setup config. Let's check this one more time. It's a big int. Why are you not liking my big int? Let's check out Vercel to see if, yeah, let's try to keep moving forward. I want to get this pull request in before I wrap up the stream. So we'll see if that can happen. I'll stay on a max of 10 minutes extra after the hour. Got to give myself limits. Did we push? We might never have pushed. Nope, there it is. Comparing pull request. Click on it again in case it missed it. we'll create the pull request. Once we create that pull request, I'll take my pull request and put it into Slack. Yeah, it's time for me to wrap up. Clicks are starting to get pretty slow. Paste in the pull request link, hashtag CoopRex again. Limit total supply to 10K. Let's paste that task definition. Nope, didn't copy the right thing. Copy it again. Try pasting it again. Still nope. Goodness, yeah, computer's really starting to slow down right now. Come on. Copy. Did we get it this time? We got it that time. Ticket. Let's attempt to copy the URL. Copy the URL. Put it into the ticket. Hyperlink it. Send that off. We've now submitted for review. Now that I've submitted for review, let me find the test link if the deployment worked. Go back over to Vercel. Let's look at all the deployments and see if we got that error that we're expecting or not. Splits is not the latest. Limit total supply looks like it was deployed successfully. So I don't even need to worry about that error that it's throwing. Let's try testing this. So I didn't push those changes, so we should be fine. We'll go to the /admin/create page. Take this link, send it in Slack, and say this is where you test. Test here. It's going to open up the preview. I'm going to close the preview. And let's log in first. Log in first. Connect. Phantom. Hopefully Phantom doesn't need a password. All right, we're now connected. Let's try creating a new Happy Friday token and see if we get max supply being set differently. Limit, we're going to make this Happy Friday 3. Happy Friday, Happy Friday, Happy Friday. Upload a song file. Select the noun sound. Upload an image. Select our nounish image. Inside of our artists, we're going to start with Zed's Dead, and then we'll do just Zed and Lyra. Get those two on a split together. Click the upload button or the create button. It starts uploading. We're using IPFS for now. I have plans to migrate us to Arweave. The blocker I had on migrating us to Arweave is I have not figured out how to do Arweave uploads on the front end with Next.js. I've gotten errors related to Winston when trying to use Arweave on the front end. Confirm the split creation. After we create the split, we then create the contract. And the goal for this pull request is to verify the max supply of tokens is 10,000 instead of max UN 256. Max UN 256 is what you use on our protocol to set an open edition. Unlimited editions can be sold. We want to limit it to 10K editions. And so after, I don't know if I just signed one or two. I think I just signed the first transaction to create the split. Nope, it looks like I've already signed both of them. So let's check out Supabase first. We should see a Zed's Dead artist slug appear. So there's the Zed's Dead, Happy Friday 3. And let's check out the number of editions. Moment of truth. Max supply, total supply is now 10K instead of max UN 256. I am happy with that. Let's try testing it. I probably can't test it yet for the same reason as the last token, that our indexer is slow. Let me try going back to the original one we were wanting to test, Daniel Allen, Happy Friday 2. And if I come over here, have we indexed it yet? I'm seeing it loading in the top. Makes me think we have now indexed this song, and we can test the split payouts are going into a split. Switch network in our MetaMask. Try it again, click it a few times until it actually switches. Or maybe switch network won't work for MetaMask, in which case I'll manually switch it. I should be on Basepolia. We're currently testing the 10K editions are correct. I should be able to check that without actually visiting the page. I can check it by going into my Phantom wallet, copying the address. Start throwing caution to the wind and keep shipping. Copy our Basepolia address, go back to Basepolia scan. Inside of here, we'll look up my account, and we're going to try to find that last create contract call. Here's our create contract call we executed 2 minutes ago. Go inside of that, and I'll go into the logs to try to see what our total edition size is. Permissions, token ID from, we updated the token, updated royalties, config updated, updated token, updated permissions, URI, set up new token. Max supply is being set to 10K. We can see our metadata and our max supply is at 10K. So I think we're good on this pull request. I will share this link in my Slack channel. No, I'll share this link in the Slack channel. Example collection. Let's get a screenshot of the max supply in the on-chain logs. The setup new token log shows $10,000 editions for the max supply. It used the wrong editions. Okay, so now we've got all of our text in there. We have proven that our pull request is setting all the info correctly. Let's ship this into main so that we have officially finished all of the feedback on the admin side that's blocking our, oh yeah, I don't know if I reviewed the code. Let me make sure the code looks good. We've got max collectible supply now. We've got new max collectible supply number. And outside of that, it's just scratchpad changes. Very simple pull request. Go back to conversation and let's ship it into production. ship it to prod. In this call, we were able to get 2 pull requests shipped within an hour and 15 minutes. We're at an hour and 10 right now. First thing I shipped was splits generation, so that for musicians that are creating music on Base, you can actually set up a split to distribute your payouts into anybody on your team, from your producers, your collaborators, your lyricists, whoever's on your team for the drop. You can now create a split when you are setting up that token so that people get paid out proportionally. And then after that, I limited the supply to 10,000. Before we were doing open editions. Right now we want 10,000 editions. So we're setting that as the initial number for our launch on Monday. I've already been asked, can we change it to like 1,000? Can we make it higher or lower? And yes, we can. So eventually I'm going to make an input so that the admin can put the number of tokens in the max supply. But for now, because there's a lot more in the backlog I need to ship, I'm hard coding it to 10K just to try to get this out the door for our Monday launch. The most important question I'm asking myself, what are the specific feedback required for Monday's release? If you got any value out of this video, please click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the follow button, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or any words you want to give. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.